Come on.
On how important do you think 7-on-7 is to you, from your point of view?
I think it's more for the offense side of the ball.
Right, and that's how you want to keep it into that system where they know that at some point I want to be the star at Eastside. I want to be the star at
Your head coach does it for you. I feel you're just spending extra money for a recruitment service.
Hey, can I piggyback off that real quick?
Yeah, definitely.
What's going on? I see people. I don't know if my microphone is on.
What's up, Don?
What's going on, Big Bite? How you making out?
I'm good, brother. How was your trip? Good?
Oh, man. Exhausting, but definitely well worth the trip. We got what we was looking for. Got a Boston College offer. Shout out to Savon Huggins.
Awesome.
So come back up there, getting it done. Love to see the kids getting that part of it done, right?
Absolutely. But there's another side of it. You get the offer, then there's recruitment. That was one of my posts before.
Then comes the part. They say they want. That's what it's funny. What they say they want all of the recruiting and all of the offers, Then comes the decision making and all that extra stuff. So,
Yep.
on the phone. So, but that's where we are. Good space to be in right now with that. Like I said, just happy to be in this position. We got more work to do. You know how it goes around here. So, I want to drop this thing in real quick. This title for sports. Let's put that. Cool. Brandon, is that you I see over there? Oh, beautiful. I love when he can't talk. So as you can see, man, I got one of my great friends, man, Mike Bright, man. He's a long-time friend of mine, man, in the DM, and from his other son and to now, with his youngest son, the baby of the bunch, getting ready to make this next move, man. And just congratulations to you and everything that you've done, man. I mean, you are what I would consider almost like the blueprint. The blueprint.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm just saying, when you think about parents and what they have to go through, I know quite sure. Well, obviously, I don't want to throw it all out there, but you was a really good basketball player in your heyday, right? You played high level, so you got to understand what the recruiting life was like then. Now we fast forward to where we at right now, and I'm talking about from the early 2000s to right now 2025. And it's like I know that's changed, and you are a good person for parents to go to and say, what's it like? Because you different avenues, public school, private school, having them here, taking them there. So I'm telling you, you might not see it that way. But I tell you, like I told Ray Nell, y'all should write a book. I'm telling you, because there's so many other people getting attention and pay, right? For some experience that they're not even going through that you guys are living in right now. So definitely, like I said, I got to give you your blessing and your flowers on that. Brandon,
I appreciate that.
Are you back live, Brandon?
Good afternoon, sir. Good evening, I'm sorry.
I was hoping we was gonna hear him all day.
That's crazy.
What's up? Where's your other partner? Your partner in crime, Mr. Sheed. Yeah, you know how that is, Mike. Mr. Sheed get on here, he turn the whole show up.
That's my guy.
Of Sheed, as soon as you say his fucking name, he's sitting in the back. Yo, this dude, he don't make no mistakes, yo. He sat there and waited for you to call his name.
That's right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I'm the boogeyman. You know that.
I know about the
Baba Yaga. We like to call him Baba Yaga.
And I was like, he gonna
Brandon, watch that cussing. I heard you.
I ain't cuss.
You did too. I heard you.
No, I caught myself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
What I got going on, man?
Listen, a little bit of this, a little bit. You see, I got my special guest here, see.
That's my guy.
You already know. I told Mike he needs to write a book on his experiences because I'm telling you, there's a lot of people getting paid that don't even know much that he even, going through. But all of these recruiters and agents, they might want to take a page out of your book, Mike. For real.
Well, I always say, the little bit I know, she forgot more stuff about all this than I even know. So
I appreciate that.
Listen, but we got a good one tonight. Mike, I ain't gonna keep you long. I know you had a ride, so I'll probably bring your segment up first. You know what I mean? But again, everybody, welcome for tuning into the Coach's Corner. We are live on many different platforms. Thanks to Sam Sports. All right. So you looking at my Instagram, you're looking at my Facebook. You can check it out. I know we got the YouTube pumping live right now. We got Twitch. What was the other one that we have? SM4. What is it?
The radio.
The radio link. We live on the radio link. So, again, and this is valuable information. This show right here, I worked hard on it. I really did. I went and got some research on it. We're going to have some really good topics that we're going to talk about. But like I said, I want to open the door up for Mike. Brandon, if you don't mind, let's put up the post. All right, Mike put up a good post on Facebook, and I'm telling you, like, people really got to listen to what is being said and not listen to who said it. Sometimes, Mike, that happens, I think, with me. Like, you say something and then it goes out like, why you say it like that? Don't worry about me and what I said. Read the message. It's a message in there that can help you. And if you got your good glasses on, you're going to see something. But if you don't, you're going to miss it. and then you're gonna end up coming back and seeing that same message like he said that. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. So Brandon, like I said, put
a Facebook post.
Yes, sir. Please put that Facebook post up. Again, like I said, this is, and I love. See, I told you and Ray, I got this connection. So I got Ray up there with the love this. You already know that the team taking care of the team as always. But Mike, if you don't mind, because I don't want to overtalk you, you could do me the honors and just read that out for us.
Well, I can't see that, but I can paraphrase where my heart was at the time. And I like how you started it. This is just my opinion and my observations and my experience. It may not be for everybody. It may be for some, and I always kind of approach it as, I just want to share what I know. And if it fits the person, great. If not, don't listen to it. Don't follow it. I mean, every path is different. And at the time when I wrote this, I probably saw at least double-digit transfers. And I saw people making comments and and I even started by saying, I have 3 sons, and 2 of my 3 I had transferred, for different reasons. And I don't know if we have time to go into them, but, I did it for reasons at the time that just made sense for us. And it really wasn't, well, one at the time was emotional. It was an emotional change. And I still believe it was the right thing because, the coach that my son was at school was at, no matter what my son did, he couldn't do right. And he was young enough for me to say, I can read the tea leaves. I could see that no matter what was going to happen, my son would not get a fair shake. So I kind of went, and my son talked me out of it. My oldest son talked me out of him transferring. So we waited to at the end of his sophomore year, and we ended up transferring to DePaul for basketball and for school, but he was a basketball player. But I wish we would have went earlier because then he could have had a better transition. But my point was in this whole post was, a lot of parents, I just hope that, let me go back. I support transferring. I've done it. I support it, and there's a benefit to it. My post is more about hoping that people who are in these kids' ears are telling the transfer for the right reasons, not for emotional or selfish reasons for them, but for the kid. And I don't have that answer, but they have to be true to those kids, and if you kind of follow through the post, I still believe, and I know, Coach Chef speak highly of him all the time. At the end of the day, the best 11 going to play, and you're going to have to compete no matter where you go. And sometimes people telling you, come over here, you're going to start. No, I just don't believe that's true. I've seen it happen too many times where kids go somewhere and they end up doing the same thing they could have did at the school they was at. And then now you potentially lose some, you lose some game time. You got to build a new rapport with everybody. And it should be more than just sports in the ideal world. I mean, I think these decisions, despite what people think, I think are life-changing decisions.
Oh yes.
When you go somewhere, the culture, the education, the coaching, the development, those are all very important things. You may go somewhere and start, but are you being developed? That's important. The next level coaches, their job is to develop you for the next level. So it was just, it was really from the heart of, I just hope that whoever is advising these kids are doing it for the benefit of the kid and not out of emotion of something going on or, a promise that they're going to do this and do that. End of the day, I don't know if any coach can actually get you a scholarship. I mean, colleges have to do that off of what you do and what your tape shows and what your measurables are. I tell parents all the time, you want your child to play at Michigan. That is awesome. If your child is a linebacker and they're 5'8", 185 pounds, they're probably not going to go to Michigan as a linebacker. That's just the reality. But doesn't mean they can't play somewhere. But, again, we as parents sometimes can't accept that. And, I had to accept it with my son, my middle son. He was awesome. I thought he was probably the best football player ever. But he was 195-pound defensive end. He wasn't going power 4. That was a hard pill to swallow. He ended up going somewhere. He did well, win Division I. You know, small school, had a great 4 years, started off 4 years, had a great education, and it was a different path. But as a parent, it was hard because, you know, I'm like, man, why my kid going to Michigan or Notre Dame? But you know why? He was 195 pounds.
Right. And,
you know, so
process,
that's where the post came from.
Yeah, and you learned that in your process. You know, it's like, listen, I've got a kid. I know my kid. My kid's awesome. And if anybody that doesn't know, you talk about Junior. Junior was fast. He was strong. He was aggressive. He had good height. Trust me, you could go check the film. The boy was like that, you know. But then we don't know what recruiters want. And trust me, this is what's happening in the days of recruiting right now. Everybody thinks, oh, well, you know, all you got to do is get to the place and they're going to get you an offer because you made a miraculous one-hand catch or because you played great defense on a 5-star one time, something like that. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get an offer. It's channels that these guys have to answer to. So you might get interest. You might say, somebody like, come to the camp and we like a lot of the stuff that we seeing. But that don't necessarily mean you're going to get an offer. And the way how this new college football is, my suggestion is make sure, like what this post says for high school is the same for college. Pick the right school that you're gonna play at. It's like, because if you're not playing, you're not gonna be happy. That's with all of our kids, right? If your kid's not playing, 9 times 10, he's not gonna like the location, not gonna like the friends there, he's not gonna like nothing because he's not playing. So find somewhere where you can play and you can showcase your skill. But you know, I was when I saw this, like I said, I had to get you on. I had to share this out to the world because, you know, I know how people think. And regardless of even if you said it or not, like you did, that even this is my opinion at that time, I see truth. I see truth in it because I deal with a lot of kids. You know, Mike, you know, I'm in the inner cities, I'm in the suburban towns, I'm all over talking to kids about what's your next move and your decision. And you're right, there's a lot of agents that are trying to get kids to make certain decisions based upon personal gain of themselves, not so much of the kids. And then sometimes you got some parents who gets confused because you don't know who to believe. Because this person is saying your kid's gonna play, this person is saying your kid's gonna play. And honestly, I had one parent I had to tell one time, a coach could tell you go and play, but you won't know until September 1. You just won't. So you're going to transfer, and guess what? Like you said, Mike, it ain't like it ain't nobody over there. There's another guy. There's definitely another guy who probably was a guy that was a 2-year, maybe freshman in JV, and now he's waiting for his turn to get to the varsity. So it's not like you're just going to walk in the park and get a spot just because you transfer. But the guys got to understand that when you transfer, you got to transfer with a good mentality too. See, when you go to the school, you can't just be like, all right, I'm here. Where's the position at? No, it's, hey, y'all, what's going on? Don Massey, great to be here. Yo, like, what are you guys into? Maybe we're into the same things. Listen, I'm trying to play wide receiver. You a wide receiver too? All right, cool. Let's work out. Maybe I can learn something from you. We can learn something from me. We could build, and then you find you something. You know, get with the coaches. Coaches, what's the regimen? What you like to run? You know, you can't tell me you're a receiver. You transferred over, but you don't know how to run a wing team. So you just played yourself. So there's a lot of different things that guys got to go into researching schools, you know, and that's what I want to swing this to, Brandon, if you don't mind, pretty much the topic of the show. Go ahead, Mike, you can talk.
No, I was going to say, you know, and I know she can probably talk this way more than me, but, you know, even at the high school level, there's levels to it. I think one of the things that I look back on and why I think, like, for us, DePaul was great for Marlon, you know, there's culture things, there's locker room things, there's classroom things. You know, we go to colleges for his recruiting and they're just so amazed at his knowledge of football. You know, the coaches were developing him at levels that I can't say don't happen in other levels, but I know where his experience is. He's going to these rooms and college coaches put plays up on the board and they say, okay, Marlon, what has to happen? He runs through it. I heard a coach at a Power 4 school whisper to another coach and said, damn, we got kids on the team that can't even do that yet. He's only 11th grade. Like that's development, you know. And then I heard coaches say the stuff they do at DePaul for like practices when they come watch and stuff. I said that's like next level. So for me, you know, I look back and say great decision because, you know, one of the goals was to get to the next level. Now, how are you going to get there? It's not about winning that game on Friday. It's about, are you becoming a better player, knowledge-wise, physically, you know, all that kind of stuff. So as you're looking at schools, even colleges now, how we look at it, who's going to develop him for him to have a chance to play on Sundays? You know, that's very important. Like who's going to be developing him and what's that development path look like? That's critical for us.
She, you got anything?
And I've seen She do it. Like I watch him do it. Like he's a developer.
look, either you develop or you kick your ass. One of the two. Something's going to happen.
Nah, you hit it right on the head, man. And the information is good because it trickled down to, you know, from middle school to high school and high school to college is really the development part of it. Like a lot of people look at the financials. Yes, we understand. We want to do free. Everybody, I get all that.
Are we going to talk about financials tonight?
Right? But some things have to be more valuable than others. Right? Like Mike is talking about the development, the knowledge, the preparation, you know, and that's really some of the differences at the high school level from private and public for the most part is when schools come to Jersey, they have no choice but to go to the top six, you know, Bergen, Bosco, DePaul, Paramus Catholic. The reason why is because it's not just talent, because there's talent at West Orange. There's talent at Eastside. There's talent at the public school as well. But now the structure is just a little bit different. The time management is a little bit different because now you got to get up at 5 a.m. to get to DePaul, go through a school day. After school, then you have study hall. After study hall, then you have weight room. After weight room, then you got to go home and do your homework. After homework, you go out for training. So there's a structure there that, you know what, this kid is a little bit more prepared to handle a college itinerary than that of another kid that may not have the structure because his coach is the coach of the track team. He's the coach of the wrestling team. So he doesn't have the time to focus and create that structure for you. So that's that structure and that time management and that development on how to carry yourself at the next level. That's huge. That's a part of the development. That's why everybody's going to the portal now. It's not just talent. It's because this 20-year-old knows what a college schedule looks like. I don't have to wake him up and tell him to be here. Now it happens, but for the most part, I don't have to tell him where he needs to be because he knows where he's supposed to be. Mommy don't got to say, "Oh well, he's sick. Sorry, coach." We know we go to that all the time. That's what Mike is talking about. The structure, that's part of the development too. It's not just physical development. It's that as well.
Okay. That's what I listen, man. But these are the things. I'm telling you, people tune into the show because we're hitting bullet points right now. I'm gonna be bringing right back as we go further with this. But again, it's all about the fit. It's about the fit for your child because you might have a situation where that type of situation might not fit, and you might have a situation where that situation does fit. You gotta really take time out. And my thing is, I'm quite sure before you made the decision whether it was DePaul, I definitely know when it became to us, it was conversations with coaches on. I know what Joe Schmo over here told me about your program, but I'm coming to the program. I want to see what's going on. Like, how do you make sure that these kids understand how to be a next level kid? You got to have these conversations. You can't just keep going off of the word. You know, a lot of people go for the word, or hey, word on the block is when you go to East Orange, it's gonna be lit. You're gonna be getting all of the offers and stuff. Nah, go find Coach Jakes, go find Coach Bob, whoever's there, and say, Coach, do you have any time? Because at the end of these 4 years, I think you just said, Mike, these transferring time and all this stuff, it's crucial. These last 4 You're talking about what's 4 to 18, so say 4 to 5 years, 14 to 19. I'm trying to say, it's a pivotal, some real crucial time that's gonna carry your child through life. I'm telling you, it's just a real serious time and it can't be taken lightly. And then if you do have a situation where, let's say, you tried an opportunity, some school, and it didn't work, well, then, like you said, then you transfer. Great. But transfer with the right mindset of why you're going to make that move. Not just because the colors is nice and the band be rocking. Okay? Not because
And for us, I'm sorry.
Good. No, go. Trust me, it's your show. I hang out.
I was saying, again, we've been pretty consistent. Again, I learned from my oldest son things I should have did and didn't do. Pass it on to my second son and learn some stuff, and now I'm down to my last one. So whatever ammunition I got, I have. But the one thing that's been true from, when my son came out of public school in 8th grade, and we end up going to DePaul, football was not in the top 5. So we made a choice. We made choices on things that were a little bit more important than football. We always felt football would work itself out, because we were definitely looking at schools that, had really good programs, but it was, how's the coach? What's the coach's love like? Do they love you? Like, are you a priority to them? Especially the head coach. There was a school, I ain't gonna say no names, they wanted us, they said they wanted us, but the head coach never called us once. So how can I send my son somewhere where the head coach, to me, didn't show my son as a priority? So that was one thing. Then it was the culture. What's the locker room like? Every locker room is not for every kid. You got to know your son. Your son can thrive in one or be drowned in one. You got to make sure that culture fits your son's mentality, his mode of how he learns, how he was motivated. Those are critical. Not everyone can handle some of those locker rooms and some of those coaching styles. That's just real. I speak about Sheed a lot. Sheed's tough on you. If you're not a tough-skinned person, you may not thrive. It's not he's a bad coach. That's his style. His style is going to motivate and push you to be great. But if you can't handle that, don't go there. If you want someone to coddle you, there's different programs like that. Some programs aren't going to tell you the truth. They're going to tell you, "Oh, you did a great job." She's going to be like, "You did a great job, but you messed up on this, you bum ass," and then keep it moving. But that works for some. But again, and money wasn't an issue. I mean, again, I'm not in everyone's pocket, but I always say money's an issue. It's not an issue till it's an issue. If a school wants me to pay $20,000 for tuition, the school wants me to pay $4,000. Now it's an issue. But $4,000 and $5,000, but that's not a financial issue for me. So it's okay, I'm not picking off of that either. So it was, there was just important things that schools had to have, and when it came down to it, all the boxes checked for us to go to DePaul. And we're doing the same thing now for college. There's some colleges that we stopped, communication with because maybe the locker room was not a locker room that was supportive of my son and how his mentality is, or a coaching style wasn't a style I felt was going to develop him to the next level. So those are still the critical pieces. NIL is nice. It's not even on the list because that's short-term money versus long-term money, Anyway, I'm sorry. You might have to have a break. I keep talking. I can go on forever.
So I got a question. Right? So about the transfers. Well, not about transfers, but back to the transfer part. So the conversation you have with a kid that want to transfer, a kid that's 9th, 10th, 11th grade who maybe played 20 plays in 3 years, and another kid that is on his 3rd school going into 12th grade. Can you have them same conversations about the transfer process? Because one kid is jumping and one kid has been patient, but is it still the same conversation as to what are you looking for? Or not really what are you looking for, but find the right place. Because this kid who's been there for 3 years, now he's going into his 12th grade year. You know what I mean? You've been in that same system 3 years, but you still ain't really touched the field like that. And this one kid has bounced because of bounced because of, oh, I don't like this, or bounced because, oh, they ain't give me what I wanted. So how are them two conversations?
No,
very similar.
Go ahead. Go ahead, she take it.
Because we have an example of both. You know, Dom, you know, one of them, he's at where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
He was the kid that was 3 years, and then he transferred his senior year, right? We also had a kid from that same school who transferred his junior year, but it was for different reasons. But the conversation is the same. Well, at least for me. Why you transfer? Because that why is going to tell me everything I need to know moving forward, and the direction I'm going to tell you, all right, nah, you bullshit. That's because coach don't like, you know what I mean? Like, I need to know why, so that way I can steer you whichever way you should go, whether it's me or someone else, you know, that type of thing. So the why is going to be the same for both of those scenarios.
Yeah. And then now it depends, Brandon, are they both at my school? You know what I mean? Like, because you just talk about two separate kids. So I don't know if they like, if I'm at, so let's say I'm at West Orange. I got a kid been here 3 years. Then I got a kid that just came in that I went to about 2 different schools before he got to me. You know, so now the question again is like she said, one, why'd you transfer? Because that would help. And I ain't gonna lie to you, a lot of people need to understand this. Coaches talk to coaches. Okay. So you could jump around and be like, you know, I just came here because I wasn't playing. I just came here because they promised me something and I didn't get it. Please believe in the good fraternity of coaching. I'm calling somebody. What's going on, man? I got this kid, D Massey, man. He said things ain't working right over there, so he's gonna pull up on my doorstep. What I got on my doorstep? Because I just meet you for 15 minutes. I don't know. But she done had you for a year. He know. And guess what? Especially if it's a relationship that I have with, she is gonna be, I'm really gonna take his opinion. So people got to also always understand that when you transferring kids, be mindful of how you leave that situation, because that can go a long way. Now, Brandon, in the new age college football, I like to call it right now, that kid that's jumping around, that's not frowned upon no more.
No,
and back in the day, if you transfer one school, a Big Ten school, a Big Time school, probably like, I don't know. Especially you're going to jump on them. You know what I'm saying? Big Time schools wouldn't commit to you. You showed you can jump, so they were like, I want somebody that's going to be here. But now it's a new college football. So now it's about what can you give me in that year or two? Might give you 2. You know what I mean? What can you give me in that 1 or 2 years? So I don't mean the kid that's transferring around. I didn't know whether he could give me something within that time. You get what I mean? But like she said, the conversation's the same. It's the why'd you leave? What are you looking for? Like that has to be the next question, almost after why'd you leave, is what are you looking for? And I believe involving the parent in that conversation. I like talking to both of them. I know that's his thing. You want to talk to both of y'all at the same time, because I don't want nobody go in the car and start talking some nonsense about what was said, and now we still ain't driving down the right street. Now, what are we looking for? Now, once you give me that opinion, because I'm a person like the reputation speaks for itself, I'm gonna tell you what what you should be looking for if it don't match what I'm saying. Like if you come in there and say, I'm looking for a Power 5 school, and then you go, well, a Power 4 school, and like you said, Mike, you're a linebacker and you're only 5'5", 5'8", and I'm like, okay, so I get what you're looking for. That's probably why you transferred. They probably told you couldn't, but they weren't lying. Here's the script. This is what they look for. So let's just grab that Michigan State folder, throw that away. But I got a good folder here with Keenan, right? I think we can get you in here. And because it's in state and you get in the summer program, you'll probably get in here for maybe way less than if we would have kept attacking this market right here. You know, and then you got to be able to accept the opinion, right, Mike? Got to be able to accept the opinion of what's being said. Most opinions come from, you know, the experiences. Like Mike just said, look, this is based upon my experience. You don't have to take it if you don't want to, but this is my opinion based upon my experience. Most coaches, we're talking through experience. You know, they're not talking about, well, I just think just because. No, it's just through our experience. This is my valid, solid opinion. You can take it if you want. And then that's how that kind of operate. But that, I mean, that's a good question there. But I'm just telling you got to be real mindful to transfer for the right reasons. You know, I got Shakira Dawes on my Facebook, and I know she put up here. But are we transferring because that school said they can get you offers and you can start, and you was just at a school doing the same thing, or is it because you feel you need all the wins and don't get developed? So I'm gonna guess with that conversation is just being mindful of what these people are saying, right? Somebody telling you can start immediately, it sounds good, but you still don't know. Okay, you just school's goal. Like I just said, I told a parent one time, you won't know until September 1, whether you're that person or not. All right, you know, about wins and losses. If that's what floats your boat, like I think you was just saying. Oh no, Mike, you were saying like football wasn't even in the top 5. So like whatever's in your 5, man, if wins and losses in there, oh well, go ahead. You know what I mean? If it's about wanting to be on a team and they might contend for a title or whatever, then maybe that's your 5. I don't know. But you got to be mindful. Your 5 are very detrimental, like they're important. But they're detrimental to this young man's, young woman. We talking about basketball and other sports, right? Their growth, all right? So you can't just be having situations where you just want to make sure it happens. Because like I said, the colors are dope. My friends are over there. They said I could start. I said I'd get an offer. Like, you know.
Well, what the parent just want to do whatever the child wants to do?
Well, whatever you make important, that's what the coach gonna make important.
Well, man.
Right.
Oh, they got on orange and black. I like that orange and black.
Yeah, man, we got 3 different colors. Man, we got 3 different jerseys, man. We switch it up.
Yeah,
man. Like we got the gray, we got the alternate grays, we got the white, we got the orange. We can match it. Yeah, man. Our jerseys.
So now she pull a parent and the kid in the office and say, "Hey, over at the school, you number 2 wide receiver. You come over here, you might be 4 or 5. Oh, I don't care. I just want the jersey." So you look at the parent, you look at the parent and be like, "Is that something that you really want to do?" Well, as long as he's happy, I'm happy.
Game over.
So I mean, but that's like.
So that means you just want to be a part of the program and the culture of it. So don't come to me later about playing time.
That's all.
You just came from where you was number 2 on the depth chart to come over here to my program and be number 5. Don't come to me in week 3 talking about playing time.
Right.
Whatever you make important, that's what the coach is going to make important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you got to figure out as a parent, and if you go to your different advisors that you get advice from, that all right, this is what important. This is what they're going to make important.
Mm-hmm.
A situation where you were number 2 on the depth chart, which means you're playing, to come over here to sit the bench. Don't come over here crying. Good night.
Good night. That's what's going to happen right there. Nah, man. Let me see what we got here.
So I think it also goes back to.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just saying, I think it goes back to as a parent, I'm only speaking from a parent. I never coached at this level in my life. I coached youth ball, but, I was just out there volunteering. But, we as parents also got to be realistic with our expectations. And that sometimes messes up the kid because we put our expectations of what we believe they should be doing versus what they really can do. And that's hard for us. It's hard for some parents to say, my son is not going to Notre Dame. My son is going to Kane. But you know what? People got to realize if you even go to Kane and play, you're still part of the top 3% in the country. That is still something to be celebrated. But we don't celebrate that because it's not marquee. And until we can understand that not everyone, everyone can't go to Bergen and play. That's, everyone goes there. All the top talent goes there. So, it's just the reality of as you start picking those schools, pick it for the right reason, be realistic in your expectations and be happy with that. But if you say like my child's the best in the country, but they don't even know him in New Jersey, then that's not realistic, and then that's the part we have to, kind of come to grips. We got to be realistic with who we are and what our kids really are and capabilities. We see kids who are 6th and 7th grade, the best thing since sliced bread. And then by the time they're sophomores or juniors, they might even be playing football no more. just developed early. They were bigger early, whatever that is. But being realistic helps out in that process.
All right, I got one more and I'm done. All right.
Yeah, because I got to get to the next topic. Come on now.
What if is the Seahawks situation? The Marshawn Lynch don't give him the ball at the goal line, and the kid is really hurt and holding on to that shit. And he'd be like, "No, yo, you don't call that play at the end." So he want to transfer out now because he feel like the coaches made it a dumb decision.
All right, one thing, watch your mouth. I heard you just say,
Sorry. What the? Sorry.
That's right. First thing. Second thing, there's a millionaires. All right. But we're changing this into a high school situation, right? So we change it to a high school situation, and I got a high school. What grade would he be in? Would it say a sophomore?
Yes.
All right, sophomore running back. We don't give him the ball on the goal line.
I mean, he carried you the whole season.
Got you.
Season on the line, and you just said
right.
last.
And then we say no, and we go another way, and then he goes, "Well, I want to transfer again." Come in the office and talk about it. You don't like the decision, then go ahead and make another decision. The real thing I want people to understand is just because you make a decision to transfer, don't necessarily mean that the other school just gonna stand there with open arms. And the running backs, whoever's over there, I'm like, "Oh man, come on in and take my spot, man. Woo, I've been dying to see you." Like that's not how it works out, man. Like sometimes, I'll give you a very good example. I coached at a school one time, and the kid transferred in. He was just from the next town over, and I had some guys who tried to make this kid's life a living hell for like a week. Like it was just testing them every chance, whether it was in drills, definitely in the hitting drills, definitely when it came down to picking up the bags and stuff like that. Like you're a rookie, you ain't from around here. Pick the stuff up. You're a junior, right? But it's treat him like a rookie again. The culture and what they do, okay? Trying to see if he could fit in. Is he going to break, or is he going to stand up and be like, "No, I got you." And because he stood up with his chin up, about a week over, he was their number one guy. Nah, coach, make sure you put such in. He could play. He had gained their respect from just how they been. But like you said, Mike, certain people be in situations like that, even like you see, how they could coach you. You go out there and try to train them or coach them up, and now that break them. So you done brought your kid over here. This a solid team, but we got a way of what we do. And guess what? Your kid might not be able to handle that type of stuff that's going down right there. And it ain't no hazing. I ain't said nobody got hazed. What I said is when it came time for tackling drills, the captain stepped up. Nah, I'm gonna run the ball this time. He got to come tackle me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, get the bags, bro. Stuff like that. There's some guys that's not freshmen will kind of look at it as a disrespectful manner. Like, "Oh, I ain't no freshman." No, bro, get the bags. You fresh here. So this is what you got to do. And I'm telling you, bro, some guys can't handle that because depending on their situation, their background, where they coming from, and those are just two small examples. Man, kid might want to transfer out again. And please be mindful of transfer rules. I know we didn't really say it when we touched on it, but transfer rules are real. And if you bouncing and bopping and popping and bouncing, might put your kid in a bad position. We'll speak for New Jersey, Brandon. I don't know what you got in Maryland, all right? But in New Jersey, you're allowed one free transfer up until your sophomore year.
And dates matter.
And dates matter. And after that certain time in that sophomore year, I think like Sheeta said, once you make that transfer, you have to sit a couple of games, some days, whatever case may be.
If you transferred June 12th and the deadline was June 10th, it don't matter. It don't matter. It's over.
You're sitting 30 days, I think, believe, or something like that. If you transfer once, and let's say you do transfer on June 9th, so you beat the cutoff for that one. But now you done went to this new school, and you ain't liking that. So now you want to transfer again. That second transfer is going to cost you some time on the field. So again, being mindful of rules. Because again, you're going to start. Yeah, that's cool. But depending upon when that rule and that transfer happens, you ain't going to start for the first four. And you better hope that the guy that is starting for the first four plays like crap, or you won't even be able to get that off.
And you might miss playoffs too, depending on when you transfer.
You know, when you transfer. Yeah, we had that situation, right? Yeah. Depending on where you transfer. You know, you come in playing 2-3 games, like, man, this feels good. And the playoffs come and splat. You're off, bro. You're off. We gotta go to the next guy. So, you know, and again, these people that's telling y'all to transfer, people make sure these guys should be giving you these answers too. Right? They should be able to answer these questions because not just because the jerseys look nice. But hey, Bree, I'm at 10 o'clock. Give me my next one. I want to talk about paying. I want to talk about paying for school. So please give me that topic that I posted on my Instagram story about should public high schools have registration fees or football fees.
So he's trying to start trouble tonight. We've been all so long. He's trying to start trouble.
Listen. I came. What they say? I woke up and chose violence. Okay, I chose it because you know what's interesting. Me being around different places, different people, right? I get to see both sides of the world almost. I live in the public world, so that's what. Just in case anybody here's watching. I've always coached in public high school, so I've lived in the public world. And you know what? In living in the public world, I've seen a lot of things that didn't go right, what could have been right if we had certain things, right? And I hear a lot of people always say, when I posted this, I had a couple of phone calls, and a couple of people were saying, well, it's a public school. It should be free. You should, you know, these things you shouldn't have to pay for. But then it's an old school phrase, Mike, that says you get what you pay for. So if I just give you an all-black jersey with just the number on it and a logo on the shoulder, that's what you're paying for. If I get you, you know, as long as the helmet passes certification, that means it's a good helmet. Mm-hmm. It might not be an F7. It might not be, you know, all of those.
Flex.
Bro, it's a helmet that passed certification. By the standard of the law, that's what you should get. They don't have to get the sexy stuff that a lot of guys get, the X-Tech shoulder pads. Yeah, these is nice looking things, but the school does not have to actually provide you that. They just got to provide you what's safe. So, you know, I've seen a lot of things. That's just taking it into the deep end. In the public school ranks, but I have friends. Obviously, you can see Mike here. He's now a private school parent. You know, I have Sheed. You know, he's coaching the private school for a while. Again, Mike has told y'all he's had kids in the public school too. Mike could tell you about some things that we kind of we needed some money for back in the day for certain things because we were a public school program and people have certain things that they want to happen. You know, they want certain needs, certain things covered. So, but I see in the private schools that they do have a fund. And every school, I believe, is different. I think every amount is different per school, but the amount fits the school. And it allows, and again, Sheet, I'm going to ask you to kind of dive into this because I don't really get into the private school. But I want to know, like, that money that's collected, that allows you guys to kind of be able to get certain things for the kids. So this way you don't have to kind of go into the school to grab those types of resources, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, like even things such as game day meals.
Wow. Hey,
Mike. Just feeding them for the game.
Meals. Remember what that was like, Mike? Should I get a poppy sandwich or a real? Why? I'm sorry, I had a flashback.
That's what that fee helps with. Just think about feeding the kids every game day. Mm. That $400 registration fee, let's say for a team full of 80 kids, that's still not enough for the whole season.
Correct.
So before you get into all the logistics of what the fees are for, just picture this: just to feed them for the season, that helps. Just to feed them. Forget uniforms, travel. Forget gear, T-shirts. Just to feed them.
Now, I shouldn't have to go to the principal because I'm in a public school and tell the principal it's his child to feed him because I go to public school, right? Like, I mean, these are things that I want people to understand. You can't. You don't run down to the board about. You just can't. It's a public school, but these are the questions. Like, it's small things that I'm telling you that I know that would have went a long way. Like you see me have a moment with Mike just now. Like, wow, feeding the kids, and the kid ain't got to go to the corner store to get a sandwich because we got food now. Bless for me and Mike, we was in a good situation. Had some great women around. Coach Grant's mom, Coach Cyrus' mom. You know, where we had a pregame dinner every Thursday. We had a meal, I believe, before every game type of thing. But these are people who are coming out of their households with this stuff. This ain't coming from no public school. This is coming from some family member. Again, the mother of the coaches sacrificing their time, sacrificing their money, whatever the case may be, to make sure kids eat. And again, like you said, we're not even talking about the fly shirts. You know, we ain't talking about none of the 7-on-7 and traveling and stuff. None of that.
Yep,
just talking about every week. Feeding them. I'm telling you, I'm sorry, Mike. I'm big. I done talked to a lot of people about this. I am for, like, parents should have a fee.
And you gotta invest in yourself too. Like,
so can we rewind for a little bit? So for the people that sit all the way in the back of the class, can you explain what do you mean about a fee? Like, should we give $20 a week? You talking about like $100 one time? Like, so when you say fee,
let me say this: depending upon your demographics, is what you have to ask for. Okay, you can't be in an inner city and you're asking for $700 of a football fee. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen at all. Now, it might happen if it come with an iPhone. All right, but we ain't gonna get into all of this. All right,
I know where you're going.
You already know. So it's not gonna happen, right? So let's just, if you want to make it easy math, let's just say I'm in the inner city and I want every one of my parents to pay $100 as a football fee. Uh-huh. Parents won't understand that $100 is not a lot, but it's a good help. That $100 will probably pay for their 7-on-7 uniforms. The $100 could probably pay for a 7-on-7 camp. And I'm just thinking small stuff, right? Because again, it's only $100. But it's some money that can go to certain things. Thank you, Will. And somebody else brought it up on my other page about the budget. I love when they talk the budget, Mike, because you know what else is in the budget? That math teacher's in the budget. And now you have to figure out when they have these cuts, because I'm living in it a little bit right now, where you have a school that can go through cuts. And when they go through the budget and they got to say, well, we got to find a way to make this work because we can't be in a deficit. So if we have to take away something, sometimes you know what's on the chopping block? Your kid's sport. Now, what gets saved is kids' lives. Some people might say, you know what? No, because that's not going to work. We're going to have too much bad going on if we take away that sport. But then you know what else goes on that? Well, now we got to figure out, well, some teachers might got to get cut. Maybe some custodians we got to cut down some hours because the budget gets a broad thing. Yes, it's a sports budget. It's a sports budget. We got it. But the sports budget don't get to stay at 100,000. And then we just got to keep the school budget at 900,000 and just keep going like this.
Yeah, it's more than one sport too.
That part as well. So now we got to always put ourselves in position to say, well, your sport, and then football, because I'm just living in my own world. It's a lot of money to run a football team
because you got more kids. Buses to the games. You might have to get 2 charter buses for each game because you got 85 kids on the team, 100 kids on the team. Mm-hmm. You got to get everybody they shoulder pads reconditioned. That stuff ain't free. You got to get the helmets.
So your principal makes the budget for the school. Correct. I think. But the principal has the budget for the year as well, right? So right. They make the budget and they give you money, and you make the budget for. I mean, sorry, not you, but the principal makes the budget for your program.
On what makes the school run,
right? So let's say
you can't just run to the sports and go, well, they gave us 100,000. Hey, sports, here's 50,000. Can't do that.
So over at Sam Sports High School, I've been having 40 kids for the last 10 years. This year we got 75 kids. Can I, as the principal, go to the board and be like, yo, this ain't working for us? Can we get a little bit more?
So right now the school board also represents the city. So what ends up happening is they're going to say, you want extra money, where would you like us to get it from? Would you like us to raise taxes? No, they're going to, do you want us to raise taxes? Now you got homeowners that go, wait a minute, I ain't even got a kid in that school. Don't you raise my taxes? Just because some parent, again, you ready for the word I'm about to use? Don't want to invest. That's what it come down to. Hey, there was a booby trap. I told you I chose violence. Reason why I feel like the biggest reason why, because parents need skin in the game. You have a lot of people who have no skin in the game, and you run to these coaches and you ask for offers, you ask for equipment, you ask for clothes, you ask for sandwiches, you ask for bus tickets, you ask for the world from a person who's going to sacrifice about 75% of his life into you and not even his own kids. Great post you put up today, Sheed, about little man doing this thing. He said, I'm not going to invest in everybody else's kid, not going to invest in my own. So, but you got to understand, school districts do have budgets. And again, now you're talking taxes. Now we're talking taxpayers. But now it's a question. Why not? Here's my next thing, Mike. This one going to be the killer. You pay for youth sports. Why not just keep it rolling?
You paying a lot for youth sports too, especially now. There's spring football and uniforms is $400. Registration is $5. Shit, I'm being nice with those numbers.
Why not just keep it rolling? It allows you to have skin in the game. And I'm not saying that because you paid it, you go run in there and say, you better give me a Division I off. I dropped my $200. No, they're not doing that.
So
But
I just gotta.
Hold, Brandon. But I bet you make sure your son go to practice because you paid that $200.
That's the difference.
Technically, they don't even send their kid. Oh, never mind.
Let me tell you something. See these two individuals right here? One has a son in a private school, and one coach is there, and they both told you, listen, at the end of the day, right? You gotta be there at a certain time, 5 a.m. You know why they make sure that they're at 5 a.m? Because they paid.
No bull. They paying tuition, whatever it is, 100. They paying tuition. They fundraising. Hey man, I don't care about you being sick.
Here we go. Man, I'm not paying no money for no high school. LOL. This not Little League. How about the coaches volunteer for free again? How about the coaches volunteer free again? Okay, Steven, I'm gonna say it like this. I love your opinion. You ain't gonna pay for it. That's cool. Coaches volunteering, that's up to their program. I don't know exactly what school, what town we in. If you're in New Jersey, I can just speak for that real quick. Some coaches do volunteer. They do. Yep. Some coaches do get paid because most of the, like we just said, budgets. Y'all said
most of the coaches volunteer.
Right, because the budget can't pay for all of the coaches. So some coaches volunteer. Some coaches get help. I can't say what they call it. Might get a donation from a booster club because they're volunteering because they don't have the funds in the budget to allocate to pay all of the coaches that you need. You need 10 coaches on that team, but guess what? The budget said we only gonna pay for 5. So now you got to figure out, how do we take care of the other 5? Boy, I bet if it was a football fee, it'd be a way to take care of some of them 5. But hey, what am I talking about? I'm just the guy that's trying to put a light on the situation. Will Hathaway said, has any football programs planning to be cut due to the budget? I'm telling you, I've seen it.
Yeah, they have.
Without revealing anything, because again, I ain't trying to get myself caught up in no nonsense either, just to entertain anybody. But what I'm trying to tell you, this happens. And we'll ask anybody in Orange. I think you're in Orange. You can ask Orange, has that ever been brought up? Any sport. Let's not talk about football. Any sport. I've seen wrestling get cut one time. at a school I was at, I seen golf get cut. I seen not baseball. It's golf. And guess what? Just because it's not our sport, don't mean it's not important.
I understand that part.
Right, but I'm just saying. So I've seen sports get cut. I've seen people lose jobs on just teaching because of a budget cut. We're talking about a sport that you're not even. Here go the funny thing. We're talking about a sport that nobody even go. Most of the time, and just in my world, I'm gonna speak in football. You're not even taking your kids to extra training. You ain't even doing nothing extra anyway.
Yo, that's
So She School says, "Hey, I want y'all to pay $100." You say, DM, I want y'all to pay $100. Mike say, I want y'all to pay $100, and I said, all three of y'all schools pay, and my kids don't. Now I gotta drop my program.
It's your budget.
That's your budget. Whatever you want to do with your budget.
It's just situation.
But well, now I ain't got all the cool stuff y'all got. So then we got the transfer kids coming in again.
Bro, you had to. This one thing I wanted to tell people. Like, I see some questions coming up. Right, it's not a cut and dry thing. I can't just be like, pay the money and this was going to happen. Right. Mm-hmm. Every situation is different. Like I said, if you ask these two gentlemen, they have a football fee and they pay tuition. All right. So what I'm trying to get people to understand is think about the things that your kid miss out on and think about what you're asking the public school to do. And the last thing is think about what are you doing? That's what this conversation is about. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I know a lot of guys and a lot of programs, and no, I don't tell nobody where I know them from. All right. But I'm just letting you know it happens at an alarming rate, Brandon. It happens where guys get used, guys get talked about, guys get thrown into the inferno, all because someone's kid didn't get what someone thought they should, and all they did was sit their asses in the house.
Yeah, we got to think.
Come to no practice, but you come in the senior year and say, where the offers at? Where his school at? Coach, you should get me something. And you ain't give me nothing in 4 years.
I'm gonna help my man Steven out because I don't know.
Hey, Don.
I'm gonna help him out with that.
So, hey, Don, I'm not sure if it was discussed, but there are public schools that do charge for extracurricular activities for sports. Yes. It happens in districts where the funding is short. It happens in districts, and with the government. It's not politics, but wherever happening with the government, as they begin to take less and less money going to those districts, there's going to be more and more districts that are forced to charge something. It may be $50, it may be $100, but it's happening already. It's been happening for years in some school districts. So it's not new. May not be happening here. But it can if the districts get strapped for cash if they want to keep those programs. That's just the reality of budgeting.
Where does that money go? So my man Steven, and this is not an attack, it's just helping you get the perspective of what we're saying here. So I was a defensive coordinator on one of the top programs in New Jersey. I only made an $8,000 stipend. Now, mind you, I am with your kid from January all the way through November.
Because you only get paid. When is that time frame for that stipend? I just want to get it.
Only during the football season. So only from September to November, I get that stipend. I am with your kid, not only coaching him how to tackle and intercept the ball, but I'm helping him with his mental issues. I'm helping him with his stuff that he has going on at home. I'm helping him with his lack of father issues at home. I'm driving him to practice. I'm picking him up from school. I'm taking him home. So I'm doing all of these things in the summertime. I have to help here. Here's some extra money to feed you. So if we're just talking about money from that perspective, then that means I should be getting a lot more for the investment. Not only am I doing that and I'm spending so much time with your child, I am taking time away from my child, because not only when I'm done with your kid and I send him home, I got to go home and do football work, scheme, game plan, watch film, practice film, get a phone call at 11 o'clock. Hey, coach, so-and-so has just been in an accident. I got to get up out of my bed, go to the hospital to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, been there. I've been there.
So we can't put a value on where the money goes. It's important. You need money to help fund. Now we need helmets. We need new helmets. We have to recondition the helmets. That's where the money goes. Reconditioning the helmet isn't free. Reconditioning your shoulder pads isn't free.
Right.
Ordering buses to travel to games isn't free. Feeding them every week for the game isn't free. Uniform isn't free. Practice uniforms isn't free. Shorts, t-shirts, these things aren't free. That's where your money is going.
Right. Now, I'm going to say this real quick. Steven said he worked for the school system. So I mean, Steven understands. But I want to jump on this part, Steve. Where should the money go? Again, let's just talk about what I'm meaning right now by people should pay is just phase 1, right? Phase 2 is a board of who handles the money. Phase 3 is where the money goes. So like I said, I don't really want people to dive in on the first thing and go, man, nah, that's wrong. No, because obviously, look, we could collect money, but we got to have somebody that knows how to handle money.
Oh, no, he's saying where does the money go when he pay to get into the game each week?
Okay,
that go down.
That's a whole
avenue.
Thing.
Yeah. That don't come to the school. We don't control that.
I'm telling you. I retired from football, so I feel like I can talk my shit. And I curse Brandon, so I apologize. But I'm just saying, where people may assume that money be going and with the budgets handle, it doesn't work like that.
Who's paying for the concession stand food? Who paying for the police to be there? All these things are in the
I have Baron, from off the top sports. He put up a post. He said they cut whatever sport isn't popular amongst demographics, which is true. Yes. You heard me say golf, right? I was in the inner city school. They decided to cut golf, or they make it a club, right? They cut it, but make it a club. So now instead of paying the coach, like you said, let's say she getting 8. No, now it's a $2,000 stipend for the program, and you make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? So those types of things happening. Now, I don't think no one should have a problem, Stephen, with paying for their kid. Just feel
we gotta invite Stephen on the show all the time. He provoked conversation, man. Appreciate
you, Stephen. Word is born,
man. Stephen, man.
Nah, bro. I love it because it's just one of those things where people need to hear. Let me say, even if Stephen agrees with what we're saying, she and Brandon, at least he's giving objectives. Like you need objectives so people can hear it from both sides. That's why I said I sparred with this for a few people. With this question before we brought it on today, I shot it out and sparred it with people. Listen, one of the things that came up with this, and that people that could tell that's listening could answer this question and see if they agree to this. Let's say we're in the inner city, or even if you're not in the inner city, most people have to fill out the free lunch or the reduced lunch form. Depending on what you put on a reduced lunch form determines whether you get it for free, reduced, or you pay full price, right? So one of the guys I talked to, he said, yo, if you're saying that football fee will get treated like that, I'm all in on it, because then now we're talking about government dollars. I said, hey, I like that plan too. Listen to what I'm saying. It's just a plan. But I'm just, by saying fees, something needs to get put into schools outside of what the board, what the budget is given. And my whole thing is like, I get that what my guy said about if they can't afford to pay for free lunch or for lunch, then you're not gonna be able to afford that. Cool. But then we need to make something even for those parents. You parents are the ticket takers. You parents are the 50-50 walk around people. You parents are the servers where we do get the food. Like everyone and that's it. That's all.
At the bowl, they even give you an option to where if you can't pay the football fee, right? You can pay the football fee full. If you can't do that, then go out and get a certain amount of ad journals. That helps cover your your football fee. But again, it's still an investment, because now you got to go out and get the ad journals.
Yes.
You gotta go to the local restaurant and say, hey, can you sponsor my football? It's all an investment. So if you physically can't have the $600, $400, $500, hey, here's the option. Go out and get $500 worth of ad journals. Mm-hmm. You shop at these stores anyway. So hey, is it okay if you want to sponsor $25, $50, $20? So there's options to where it's not all coming out of your pocket. But all coach is talking about is just having the skin in the game, investing in it. That's all he's talking about. We kind of got crazy with where the money go
because
that's a deflection.
See, but that's what that is. That's all that is.
Yeah.
Anytime you bring up, I need you, then all of a sudden go, whoa, what about what they supposed to take care of? And that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. Politics plays a part in budgets, but a certain thing like this small thing that I'm talking about, politics ain't got nothing to do with it.
Just talking about investing, man.
Yeah.
Investing in yourself.
Yeah, we're not worrying about that. I got Coach Barris Grant, or new coach. Congratulations, man! Got the job at Union. He put Georgia sports has fees. He said just they deal with it, you know. And I mean,
slim comment right there. Who just commented? That's a key piece.
Here we go. Do budgets increase after chips, or is it the same balance? Hey, Slim, guess what? You can win a championship. The budget's still the same budget.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Listen, how about this, Slim? You could go undefeated, and the coach, because now let's talk about Newark real quick. Newark has, well, I think I told you, Brandon, 7 high schools in it. 6 of them are in the Board of Education. I could go undefeated, right? And I'm going to just use this small number of $10,000. I'm undefeated. I got paid $10,000. She lost every game. He got paid $10,000. It's the same. It don't matter. And I'm going to tell you another reason why I brought up this type of topic, because I have been on a team that won the championships and was told, fellas, you got to figure out which one you want, the ring or the jacket. We only paying for one. That was from the budget. That was from the school board. And you can't get mad. You know why? Because that was not in the budget. Rings, jackets, these things aren't in budgets. The budgets ain't designed for, okay, we got to make sure that we got championship apparel, got to make sure that they got the coaches apparel, got to make sure that they got the 7-on-7 apparel, the bus apparel, the ref, like all of this stuff. That's not y'all. The budget is the budget. Like I said, you could use a small number, $100. It mean everything, but to make the math easy, $100. That's your budget. You got to figure out what you're going to do with that. And if it's not enough, what, Brandon? I'm just
$100, 55 kids.
Bro, I'm just saying you could do
that takes care of just feeding your kids for the year. That just takes care of feeding them for the year.
So how often you feeding the kids?
Every game.
Every game.
So if you go to McDonald's, right, and get like 50 sandwiches, or you getting
who paying for it?
Or you bringing out the grill and you putting the chicken on the grill and shit.
Who's paying for the food?
$5,000 is
okay. So even if you take $5,000 and you doing that
yourself, $100 for 55 kids.
Okay, so even if you take the $5,000 and you're cooking the food yourself, you don't even go out to a restaurant. Now that extra $3,000 that's left can do what? Help you somewhere else.
Yeah. You get the grass cut.
Whatever it is, it helps the program and it helps your kid.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Somebody gonna need help. Somebody gonna need cleats. Somebody gonna need something.
Yeah.
It helps. Every little bit helps. So all he's talking about is the investment part. Investing in your kids, having skin in the game. Now, when you have skin in the game, you can ask, hey, coach, man, I noticed that we donated $500 each. You know, where's the money going? Especially if you're not seeing where the money is going.
Oh, we got the book right here.
Money is going. My kid is eating every week. He's got gear coming out the galore, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever. He's traveling. I see where the money is going. It's not like you're investing your money and you don't see where the money is. Now you got to question it. Where's the money going? Each parent donated $500. Where's the money going? You should have a budget for that. You should have it.
I'm telling you, I love this conversation. I hope to bring it up more and more.
There you go. He said now it makes sense why these programs get one new uniform every 15 years.
Bro, it's in your budget. Listen,
and footballs cost $90, right?
Do they?
Easily.
Do they?
How many you need for the season?
No, you're talking about 2 a game. That's on a low level. On a low level is 2 a game.
And then the kicker gonna kick one of them away, so it's over for that.
Hey, Brandon, guess what? And
That's not funny, Steve. That's not funny, Steve.
I'm just saying we're in the northeast region over here. So what the weather does? Rain, snow. So now you just killed it, bro. Footballs are done up by the time the 4th game of the season.
So we looking at like 15, 20 a year?
Bro. Easily.
Because you got to have them for practice. Your water bottles.
The receivers need them, right? Mm-hmm. Quarterbacks need them. Running back coach won't need them. So, like, come on, man. Get a group of parents who are supporting their football team to donate to get the money back. That's what Will Hathaway said. That'll work too. I'm gonna tell you where this
said he got 130 plus kids in this program. Lord have mercy.
Fundraising, right? Money can come from anywhere. Fundraising. We not talking about.
You can get it from the governor. We don't care.
Like he just talking about having a skin in the game. So even if we saying don't pay no registration fee, let's bring this in.
Mm-hmm. Go.
You don't have to pay no registration fee. We're doing 5 fundraisers this year, and you don't show up to nothing. That's just investing in your kids. So let's forget about the registration fee. Take that out the window. He's not talking about that. Hey, coach. Hey, we're gonna do 5 fundraisers, and you don't help in none of them.
Yep, I've seen that. I have seen that before, Brandon. I have seen that before. What she just said.
Yeah. Oh, I was reading.
Watch fundraiser, like you said, the ad fundraiser, all of those types of things, and this person won't do nothing.
Nothing.
But you know what you see, Brandon? See the sad kid that got to come in here and be like, "I wish I could get the $40 to get the 7-on-7 uniform. Mm-hmm. I wish I could get something to eat tonight. I wish I could get a ride home tonight. I wish I had better clothes than the ones with these holes in them." Or you know what's even crazier, Brandon? In the summertime, I got a kid out here wearing cotton sweatsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got the kid who don't take that shit off. They wear that shit all week because they feel good in it, so they gonna wear it out.
Nah, right? But guess what? That if someone would talk and do the fundraiser, guess what? We could probably use those funds also to help with that. Let's people may be looking at this picture from the wrong aspect. Yeah. This can be the help for some people that we got. We might have a kid on the team that got burnt out. Guess what we got, y'all? Because we all put some skin in the game. We got the fun. So even if it's just $100 food ShopRite card, it go a long way.
Yeah, we talking about where the money going. That's not the topic.
Oh man, like people don't understand.
If I invest in my kid, other parents don't.
So you can't say we can't talk about where the money going, because you can say that if you stood on business your whole career and nobody ever questioned you, you can say that. But if Bob come over here and Bob is questionable, we have to question Bob.
But that's what I'm saying. If you don't see where the money is going, if you don't see it, then you can question all day. Like, coach, we raised 20 grand this year.
Right.
Our kids are not eating this week. We don't have no new gear. We don't have no new uniforms. We got to drive to the games instead of you guys taking the bus. Where's the money? That's what I'm saying. You can question that. But if you see if you see that my child is eating every week, that means that money came from somewhere. If we're traveling to the games on the bus or the charter, that meant that money came from somewhere. If we're getting gear and t-shirts and hoodies and whatever, footballs, water bottles, whatever it is, the money came from somewhere. So that means you at least see it. But if you don't see it, you can question your life away. Coach, where's that money coming from? Where's that money going? We raised 20 grand. Where is it?
Well, Sharkeisha going to say that's what coach is supposed to do.
Right.
And that's fine too.
You're going to find yourself on, you get what you pay for.
The
100. But listen to what I'm saying. Let's get back one thing real quick. Like you heard, she said you can ask where the money going because it will have this was paid for this. This was paid for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want people to listen to this message kind of like closed-minded to say Don said give me $100,000. And now Don gotta come up with a plan to spend $100,000, but I don't know nothing about the plan. I just know Don got $100,000. No. I'm saying either through fundraising or through donation, there needs to be a fee to help with certain things, because to ask people, school districts to give and you're not giving should be a crime because it's your child. So that's what I'm breaking it down to. And like I said before, once you figure out and establish, okay, what are we doing? How much are we giving? Okay, we need a board to handle this. So some people got booster clubs to handle it. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be nothing major. They got a booster club, and in that booster club is a ledger for everything that get collected and spent out. Okay, so it's one of those things where if you have skin in the game, you get to go into the booster club and say, "Excuse me, what are we paying for?" And it can be like, "Here you go." Right? Like that's what I'm telling. I want people to
investment to the program too.
Money.
So I'm reading Stephen. It's not just your kid, yes, but your kid is a part of the program. So it's not just all right. I'm just investing in my kid. So I know that's what we're saying, investing in your kid, but your kid is a part of the program. So whatever helps the program will ultimately help your kid. So yes, everybody's gonna be, oh, this person paid, but I didn't pay. That we all know those things happen. So, but it's for the program. So if we have it, maybe that you don't know everybody's situation. Maybe that person can't pay whatever. Did the coach give the option?
She's on fundraiser and you're not. Maybe she's on the service. Maybe she wants to work hers instead of doing it.
There you go. So the investment can be
a different situation.
There you go. The investment can come in different forms. We're just saying invest. So you may have invested your $500 registration fee. This other parent didn't, but guess what she's investing in? Her time. Hey, mom, I need you to cook dinner for the kids. I need you to serve. I need you to be my team mom. I need you to handle the book. So she's investing in another form. You know what I mean? That's where that all comes into play. Where we're not just saying financially, whatever the investment is, invest.
But the question that I really want to ask about this, I'm glad we're getting some good feedback. And Brandon, I'm probably get off of this in a minute. If most people do this for 7U, 8U, 9U, 10U, 11U, 12U, 13U, 14U. I know people that have done this for 8 years.
Her flag is 3 and 4 and it started $150.
So why?
Because you got to buy them Guardian caps.
But my question is, what's the major difference between 14U and freshman? Like what changed? Just because of a budget? That's what changed. So the Little League team didn't have a budget. So we paid because we knew the Little team didn't have a budget. But now the high school team has a budget. So we're going to not pay. But let's talk about it. The Little League team that you was at only had football. All they had. The high school team who budget you talking about might have 10 sports, boys and girls. So why not just carry over the same money that you already carried over? Like, that's my question. Like, why is that such a hard deal when you just, you know what, I'm used to paying whatever the number is. I'm used to paying $500 here. My kid has had a great career here. Well, let me just give $500 there. And I'm using public schools, again, not private. Private already do it. Okay. And like my guy, Coach BG said, when he said Georgia, he's talking about public schools in Georgia are doing this conversation. That's why I brought it up. I'm telling you, it's a booby trap. They're doing this already. So when guys be saying, yo, look at the coaches in Georgia, just made the news. Look at all the coaches paying in Georgia. Oh, well, I mean, just because he get paid all that money, he got to give that to the kids? Because he get it because he went to college and got a degree? You got to give it to your kids? He can't give it to his kids? Like, that's his salary. Like, how many people, you know what's crazy? Hey, shit, check this out. What's crazy is we're asking, or I'm asking, I'm going to put you in it. I'm asking people to give up some of their salary for their kid, and that's a no-no. But you want somebody else to give up part of their salary for your kid. Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
And they got kids at home.
Don Massey has to give up part of his salary for Jane Doe, but Jane Doe don't have to give up none of her salary, all because he go to Johnny Walker School. I love Johnny Walker too. It's interesting. This is a beautiful topic, man. Like I said, and I knew I was gonna get it down. I knew we was gonna get down. You know, man. I got 15 minutes. What you want to talk about, Brandon? It's 12 minutes. You got me on here. Real quick, before we came on, this is gonna be our last 15 minutes.
So real quick before you start, your people want their comments on the screen. You got to go make your Facebook page public so everything can come through one spot because they want to see their name on the screen too. They want to feel important, and you know what I mean. Part. So you got
that off there, engineer. We're gonna work on that. So anyway, like I'm trying to tell you, you know what? Let's get Steven's last comment on. Because he wrote a lot right there. I don't want to miss that.
Man, my son played for one of the best high school teams, and they didn't ask for no money in Baltimore. And he played for Brandon team. I can see the difference, and Brandon still didn't ask for no money. And he's a great coach. So if he asks, I will give it to him. I'm just asking the question.
Maybe that Baltimore high school program, they don't need you.
Hey, watch him out first. Watch him out about our city. Don't do it, she. No, because he did that sideways grin. He did that sideways grin. He was ready to do it.
Because we trying to talk. You cut him off, bro. Don't get emotional, bro.
Hey, he said maybe they just didn't need it. Listen,
maybe he don't need it. Everybody's budget is different. So if I got the budget, I don't need nothing from y'all.
And guess what? Like I said, I was in I'm telling you from experience. I was in a situation, okay, at a school where we needed it, but we made it work. I just told you, like I said, coaches' moms cooked dinners every Thursday night for the football team, okay? Coaches made sure they rented vans to take kids to college camps. Okay, like I've seen the situation, and guess what? It's no knock on any of those parents that was a part of that program at the time, because it's no requirement. But in my mind, and I speak to my alumni sometimes, because it's a shame that we're alumni and we can't even come in and put breakfast on the table for Sokas on a Sunday game, or a Saturday morning game, right? So, but again, this Don. You know what I'm saying? This is just Don talking about where I've seen if we had a little help. Yeah. I ain't saying a lot, but I do see, I'm going to tell you something, Brandon. I do see in the non-public world here in New Jersey, and they get that little fee right there, and then you look and you see them when you go to the 7-on-7, you're like, damn. And it ain't because they chiseled. It's because they're uniformed. You go someplace, you see them go to the sweatsuit, the Nike's elite book bag and stuff, and you're looking like, damn, shit, I wouldn't mind my kid going to play for them too. But what you're not saying is other things. I'm not saying the football fee takes care of all of that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is just because it looked good don't mean I'm supposed to do that in the public school. That's what I'm telling you. Don't have me mad. Don't try to embarrass me or make me feel like I'm less than just because another school is doing something, but you don't even understand. It's people up there with skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You got none. I'm telling you, when you get a board telling you you gotta pick between rings or jackets on a great season, that's disgusting. But guess what? If you had skin in the game, that's not a conversation. When you're sitting there trying to feed kids and you know you got your own kids at home and you going to yourself, hey, listen, it's all good, man. Here, take this, man. Let me know when you get home. If you had skin in the game, these things wouldn't have a problem. I'm trying to put a magnifying glass on the small things that people don't see in public school. That's what I'm. And when I say just a little bit of money to go a long way, it would. But hey, that's that segment. I want to talk about this next segment today. I was at Boston College today. All right, so I was a little late. So I apologize, everybody. Won't happen again. But we was at Boston College camp today. I took a young man out of West Orange High School, Sidney Padilla. Shout out to you, Sidney. He earned a scholarship offer live at the Boston College camp from the head coach, Bill O'Brien. This is one of Sheed's guys. All right. He goes to his training session. He works with him. He works out with me a lot in the DM. His mom, shout out to you. You did a great job today of just, navigating the roads and everything. But it was a mega camp, 60 Division I, 60 colleges. I'm not gonna say Division I, but 60 colleges, a lot of Division I schools. It was at least within the segment of 12 and 4, it was at least 400 kids. 400 kids on the field working. They had a field outdoor, on athletes on the field outdoor, athletes on the field indoor, and athletes on the main field working, trying to compete to get scholarships. Shout out to those kids who left their comfort levels or wherever they was at and went out there at a 400 and competed. And then there was an offensive defensive line after that. What am I saying that for? Guys, you can't get opportunities sitting in the house. You got to get out and compete. There's guys out here that are competing, and they're not just competing in September to, November, all right? They're competing in their off-season training. They're competing in their classrooms. They're competing by going to these camps. You have to put yourself in position. Oh, by the way, the camp costs $105 too. Okay? So when you go, well, I'm not going to pay for that. The school board does not pay for the college. I want you to know that. So, boom! I just had to make sure you drop that off on them real quick.
Why the coach don't pay for it? Why the football team coach don't go there and pay for it?
Wow.
Why he not taking them?
I seen a couple of coaches out there today, and shout out to them for taking time away from their families to do it. But it's a crying shame that we need stuff like that to happen when it's your child. When it's your child that's telling you he want to go to a certain level. When it's your child that's telling you they want to play a certain level of ball. And you, mom, you, dad, don't want to put your child in a position to be successful. That's where the problem lies in. But it's going to be a big camp coming up in Fairleigh Dickinson, I believe, on Tuesday. The AVC camp, I believe. Fairleigh Dickinson is in Madison, New Jersey. If it's still open, you might want to get your kid out there and work on it. Brandon had some of the camps nearby within the next 2 weeks floating across the screen earlier. If you was paying attention, you saw it. If you didn't, you missed it. But again, such is life. Mike Bright, I salute you. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. Your opinions mean the world to me. Like I said, I love to have that perspective of a parent to come in and talk. It meant a lot. Steven, man, shout out to you, man, giving us some good feedback, being objective. I love it. Slim, I love Slim. Shout out to Mustafa Hooten. He said that the South is different. Okay. Coach Mark Ingram for Central High School said the camp is at King, but Fairleigh Dickinson is running it, the one I was just telling you all about. Shout out to Shakira Dawes on the check-in. Will Hathaway, all of you guys, listen, trust me, it means the world to me. I was telling Brandon I was at the camp, and a guy from Connecticut said he watched the show. It just threw me up, man. I enjoyed that. We must be doing something well, and we got to keep it going. And please, this stuff will be on. Thank you, Steve. It will be on YouTube. It's going to be on my page, on my DM, Facebook page. So just rewatch it. Trust, this is some good information. I only talked about 2 topics. So Brandon will rerun some of those other topics in the next one. I know they probably was looking for some of that because that conference was going to be another one that's going to tear this conversation up. But it don't matter, man. Like I said, I'm just happy that everybody was able to take some time out of their schedule, listen to what we had to say, and there was some really, really good conversations. Trust me, man. You got the floor. I had to hit him with the good night. But go ahead, man. Do what you do, She.
Oh yeah, you hit it right over the head, man. Listen, man. Gain guidance above your emotions. Don't be emotional thinkers. Logical thinkers. Make it make sense. Don't respond to these topics emotionally. You don't have to agree with what we're saying. Just take it in, process it, and then do what you want with it. Good night.
Good night, dude. Brandon, you got anything on the closeout?
Oh, it's a network, man. You can see everything we got. All our social medias. Just hit the follow button, please, and thank you.
Yes.
That'll help us out tremendously.
Yes.
Hey, donation. No, I'm just playing.
No, he is not playing. Look, you don't got to invest in nothing. You can invest in me. I got to pay for this Sam Sports stuff, man. You already know. Again,
hit the cash app. Hit the cash app.
You already know. And every little bit counts. Trust me. Every little bit counts. But like, share, subscribe, man, to our networks. Make sure, don't hesitate to ask us questions. We were really here to help. That's why we do this. All right. No one's getting paid to do this. Even the little bit that I do drop in Brandon's lap just to keep us rolling is really nothing. And I tell him all the time, thank you for that, for keeping this show rolling. But I wanted to make sure that we're doing something to shine light. That's all we want to do, man, is shine light on some situations and educate and incorporate the families out here into these programs. So that way you guys can get what you're looking for, man. I know everybody is looking for a dream program, but you can make the dream come alive depending on the work that you do. But y'all already know this is DM. And in the words of the great Thanos Seed, good night.